Hey guys, first of all, I apologize if you hear any boom sounds. I'm recording this on my phone, so that means, notifications like emails, texts, you name it, Instagram, so on. And I apologize if you hear a boom sound, a big one, because that might be my bank, which it shouldn't be doing that because, I got paid today by YouTube, so I have a little money in there to cover some bills and stuff, as well as kind of splurge a little bit as well. But with that said, let's talk about something that I'm sure you're going like, you're going to yourself, you see in the title, you're like, again? Yes, again. Let's talk about this. Not that long ago, over this past week, I talked about the advantages and disadvantages video has when it comes to being an AI service. Basically one of the great advantages it has is it automatically starts you out, not just at 4 seconds per video clip, 4 seconds per video clip, but it also automatically starts you out with speed resolution, which is pretty good. And it also starts you out, at 4 credits. And the movement, because it allows you to increase the movement of what you want in the video, it starts you out at audio as well. But the big advantage is you only spend 4 credits right off the bat. The only way you increase it is if you increase to 720 or 1080p resolution. That's the big increasing, as well as even increasing along with it to, double the 4 seconds to 8 seconds, and so on. And that's image to video. That's the image to video option they give you. The other one, which is text to video, it starts you automatically with 12, but just like I said, with image, it will increase up to about the highest being 72 credits. And if you want to do that, you better make sure you buy a lot of credits. That's all I can say. But it does have that advantage, basically, of being one of the more affordable routes to go, especially if you do what I did, and that's basically today buy the 24 credit, the 2,400 credits, the 2,400 credits, if you will. Because if you use it, just with the 4 credits deal, like you're just spending 4 credits, that's going to last you a while. But if occasionally you want to go and splurge and say, okay, I'm going to do the 12 credits, I'm going to do 24 credits, you'll still be all right because then you could just go back to 4 so you can make it last longer. The other advantage I said that it had is you can take an image and basically say, okay, I want this image to have so-and-so melt into a puddle of goop. Like, let's say Queen Beelzebub, Queen Bee, if you will, from Hell of a Boss. One of the things I've always looked at with this character is she has a tail and hair that's flowing like basically goo, honey goo, if you will. So my thought was, well, wait a minute. If she's part goo in those areas, shouldn't she have, and also in her body, her midsection, if you will, her chest, or her torso, not chest, but her torso and everything. If her torso, hair, and tail all like goo-like, shouldn't she have the power to, melt into a puddle of goop if she wanted to, just for fun? And to me, video gives you that opportunity to make that happen. And believe it or not, I did. I made that happen with this character. But also, let's say you want to be a little bit more creative and say like, well, I want Queen Bee to morph into a fruit tree. Guess what? You can get that to happen. I'm not saying the other AI services don't let that happen, but to me, this seems to be the most accurate, opportunity, or the most accurate, I guess you could say, opportunistic AI service that lets you do that, which I think is pretty cool. The only disadvantage that it has is it doesn't have extension. I thought it used to at one point. Maybe I mixed it up with something else, but it doesn't have extension. I believe that once it gets that extension part in, where you can extend, your video and add more scenes or add more, substance to it, if you will. Like, let's say you have the character melt into a puddle of goop, and then let's say you say, let's have them form lipstick lips out of the goo that represents them. In the next scene, by extending it, you can make that happen. Unfortunately, video does not have the extension yet, but I guarantee that once they add that option in, they're going to be a major player. There's no doubt. But speaking of major players, that brings me to Kling. Now, Kling has been advertising. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have been noticing it. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you go to YouTube and stuff like that, as well as even using apps like what I'm using to record this, I'm sure a lot of you have been noticing advertisements for Kling, and mostly the 1.6 update. And they advertise it as being the most powerful and most accurate update in AI, prompting, if you will, that you're going to find. Basically, anything you put in there into the prompt to become a reality, it's going to make it happen. Probably more so than 1.5 and 1.0. But there was always kind of a hindrance, kind of a pullback with 1.6 and 1.5. Excuse me. And what that pullback was, that kind of prevented it from really, in my opinion, being the top echelon of AI, video AI services, is unlike 1.0, 1.5 and 1.6 would not let you extend. They would not allow you to extend the video. Well, as of yesterday, as far as I'm concerned, before my, I do apologize if I'm pausing here. I'm trying to think about the right things to say. Before my computer went through the situation that I mentioned about in the video this morning, the channel update, I noticed that Kling has now, with 1.6 and 1.5, added extension. That's right. Now you can extend your 1.6 and your 1.5 video that you create through Kling. The catch, and this is where I'm assuming you got to go higher up in subscription tier. The catch is that your video, your extension of your original video will take a little longer. Like when you do the initial video, no matter what tier you're on, I'm on standard right now, but no matter what tier you're on, your original video in Kling 1.6 should take about a minute to 30 seconds at most. But when it comes to the extension, basically that's going to take a little longer. That'll take about maybe 8 minutes at most, 10 minutes at most, 4 minutes at the least, if you will, to continue. Now, is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, because today I tried doing that after my computer fixed itself and everything. Thank the Lord on that. After it fixed itself and everything, basically I tried that again, and there were 2 times that I got a try again, message. And usually that either means that it didn't go through, it didn't render correctly, or maybe there's something that goes against their policies, or they think goes against the policies. And I'm like, okay, fine, not an issue. But to me, it is good to see that this is happening, and I was able to test it out a little bit today. And it works actually pretty good. The only issue is it still has to learn about accuracy. Like when you prompt it to do something, it's got to learn, just like any AI service, it's got to learn to accurately give you what you want, what you're asking for. And if I was to rank these services out of accuracy, not just quality, but accuracy, then I would put Kling right at number 3 and Pixverse and VENMO at the top, because they do kind of give you what you're asking for. Kling is there. Kling is in that area, but they still have a lot to learn. Like, I took this screenshot of Petunia Pig from the day the Earth blew up, where she's basically controlled by this bubblegum creature, if you will. She's basically its host body, and she's got Daffy and Porky captured, right? So I took that picture, I edited, I cropped it down to just focus on her. And what I did with VENMO and Pixverse, what I did with them, combining them together, with VENMO, I had her melt into goo. Pixverse, I could do the same thing, but it kind of goes its different way. But VENMO, it gave me what I was asking for. When I tried with Kling, it didn't exactly do that. It just suddenly decided to go a different direction, because it's not accurately reading or understanding what I'm saying. So when I talk about accuracy, if I was to rank them, then I'm definitely going to go with Pixverse and VDU at the top, and Kling at number 3. But Kling can get there. And they have shown signs of making that happen. They can make that happen. I mean, they are basically at one step away, about 1 or 2 steps away from being perfection, if you know what I mean. But again, the good news is if you're someone that utilizes Kling a lot for whatever you do, like TTRO here on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, otherwise known as Trouble TRO, if you're using it to do like little animations for your webcomic series, like what he does for Pink Benefits, Cat Burglar, Science Experiment, you name it, then you're going to have fun with this. You're going to have some fun, with the fact that now you can extend, what you're originally planning, or what you originally planned to showcase, which is, like with one frame. With one frame. Now you can extend that. I mean, you kind of saw the signs, honestly, that they were going in this direction when they first started introducing Kling to everybody. You can only do one frame. And then slowly, a little later on, they introduced to it and 1.5, 2 frames, back to back, 2 different scenes that you can connect together. And now, here we are where you can extend it. You can extend that scene, whether it's 2 different scenes back to back to create one scene or whatever, you can extend it. And for someone like Trouble TRO, this is something I'm sure he's going to be glad. I mean, I even let him know through message on Patreon, this is something I'm sure he's going to be glad to, be glad to see and be happy to utilize to the best of his abilities to get what he wants, to get what he wants. Now, does that mean he's going to use it entirely? No, because there are other options. There's VDU, like I mentioned, Pixverse, and Luma. Those are very viable options. Whatever one he uses, it's up to him. But Kling has been the one that last time one of the first times I should say, he started announcing and acknowledging, that he was doing AI to bring these to life. One of the things I saw in the bottom corner was the Kling logo. So to me, I think honestly, he might benefit more so with this, opportunity with Kling, like I said, extending the opportunity, to, basically, make your image, your idea go a little longer. The advantage that it and Luma, which if I was to rank them based on, let's say, based on not just accuracy. Accuracy, again, I go with Pixverse and VDU on that. But if I was to rank them at, length of extension and extension lengths, if you will, like how long you can go. If I was to rank them at the ability to extend for as long as you want, then Kling and Luma would be right at the top. Because they do not, as far as I know, they do not give you a limit to how far you can basically extend your video, whether it's image to video, reference to video, or text to video. They do not give you a limitation, as far as I know. Others like Pixverse, they do. Others like Pika, they do. Runaway, they do. Which, again, as good as they are, kind of puts them below Luma and Kling, because they, when it comes to extension and all that, because they limit you. They only limit you to about 18 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever. They don't let you go a little further. Kling and Luma let you do that. And Kling, being more accurate in what it can bring to the table from what you want, is in the lead, currently, in my opinion. And now with the addition of allowing people to extend their creations for as long as they want in the 1.6 and 1.5 versions, tiers, if you will. I think all they have to do is correct the accuracy situation, tweak that a bit, tweak a few things here and there, and they're going to be good to go. They're going to be basically something that when Google officially puts out the VEO2 officially, publicly, when Google does that, they're going to have some stiff competition with, because of Kling. Because they're going to be like, yeah, we're going to give you accuracy. We're going to give you everything we're hyping this VO2 to be. But we also know that we've got to do a lot more and a lot better and improve day by day, week by week to try to take the spot that Kling has. And that's the one thing some of these AI services need to do. If you want to get to that top spot, you need to really, work on things that obviously, people want to see you add to your service, add to the, the videos and everything that they create, and so on. So to add, basically, in my opinion, things like extensions for a lot longer than 30 seconds to 18 seconds or 18 seconds to 30 seconds, to add extensions for a lot longer than that, maybe unlimitedly. That's one step. Adding basically, adding in extensions, where you don't have them is another. So once outlets like, let's say, VDU, HaloU, do these things, they're good. They're good to go. Like I said, if I was to go accuracy-wise, guys, when it comes to asking what you want, VDU, Pixverse, and Kling and HaloU would be right in the top 4. No doubt. Could Luma be there? Yeah, Luma would round it out in the top 5. There's no doubt. But if you want something like, you're going to get something close to what you're asking for, Pixverse, accuracy-wise, Pixverse, VDU, Kling, and Luma, and Kling and HaloU and Luma, I should say, are in the top 5. There's no doubt. But if you want something that not only will give you something accurately, or at least close to it, but give you, as long as you want to make it as long as you want, and all that. If you want something that's going to allow you to make your creation stand out for as long as you want, something that could be like a short film competition kind of deal, then Kling and Luma are right at the top, So to me, if outlets like Pixverse, outlets like VDU, outlets like HaloU, outlets like Pika and Runaway want to get to that level, then they need to not only improve on their accuracy, well, like I said, Pixverse and VDU, in HaloU, their accuracy is there in the top 5. But if they want to really get into the overall, upper echelon, if you will, of the AI services, if they want to get there, then they need to really, make the tweaks and make the improvements they need, make the upgrades they need, to make that happen. As I said, with VDU, they have all the tools. They just need to add extension to the next update. They need to add the extension option, so that way people can extend. And I do apologize for that notification there. But like I said, that's an email notification, by the way. I do apologize, but they need to add extension to to the service on the next upgrade, the next maintenance upgrade. They need to add that, so that way, ladies and gentlemen, they could be almost, I would say, standing toe to toe, or standing height to height, if you will, nose to nose with Kling, because they have all the tools. They just need to add that extension part, and they're good to go. And mostly, they need to, add it with unlimited extension. That's what they need to do. The other thing, and the other ones that need to do that, is HaloU. HaloU is good at accuracy. People have praised it for that. But they need to add the extension part. Once they do that on the next update, they'll be good to go. They'll be in that same category as VDU. They'll be like almost nose to nose. They need to do that. But to really get there, not only does VDU and HaloU need to add extensions, extending the extending option, if you will, but again, like I said, they need to make it unlimited. No 30 seconds, 18 seconds, 15-second limitations. No, unlimited. And if Pixverse and Runaway and Pika want to get up there too, they need to take that limitation out as well. No more 15-second, 30-second, 18-second, limitations. Just let people go and have fun. Let them be as creative as they want to be, and watch basically your subscriber growth, watch your consumer growth, watch the usage of your product grow over time once you add those elements in. So right now, in closing, because I got to go get me some lunch now in a bit. In closing, accurate-wise, if I was to rank accuracy, it's VidU, Pixverse, Kling, HaloU, and Luma. Those are your top 5 as far as accuracy goes. But extending-wise, extension-wise, extending the video, extending-wise, if I was to rank them, the top 2 obviously are Kling and Luma. And then behind them would be Pixverse. Pixverse would be behind them at 30 seconds. And Runaway would be behind them at 18 seconds. Well, Pika is at 15. So basically, from an extension standpoint, Luma and Kling are at the top because they are unlimited in the extending of how long you can expand your video. Pixverse is number 3 at 30 seconds. Or 35 at least, 35 seconds. And Runaway is after that at number 4. And number 4 with 18 seconds. Well, Pika is at number 5 with 15. So once Pixverse, Runaway, and Pika, tear away those limitations on the expanding of the videos, the extension of videos that people create, and let them go full throttle, they'll be right at the top. But overall, right now, Kling and Luma, extension-wise, especially now with with Kling allowing extensions for 1.6 and 1.5, they're at the very top. And all they have to do is tweak just a bit more here and there, and they'll be good to go. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are overall. I know I may have sounded like I was all over the place here. I do apologize. And I do apologize for the little notification there, the email notification. But let me know what your thoughts are. Do you agree with some of the things I said here? Do you believe, if you were to look at it from an accuracy standpoint, VidU and Pixverse give you what you want with Kling and Luma right at the bottom. Or not Kling and Luma, but Kling and HaloU as a 3 and 4 and Luma at 5. Do you agree with that? Also, do you agree with, a potential ranking of extension with Kling and Luma being, at the top, being unlimited? Do you agree with that? And are you happy that Kling has now allowed for extension of the video with the 1.6 and 1.5? Let me know down below in the comments, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel, bell, and everything. Also, guys, check out my Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. Also, click on the links in the description to find me elsewhere. You can find me at all your favorite audio and video podcast affiliates like iTunes, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, Spotify, Pandora, Overcast, Audible from Amazon, you name it. If there's a podcast there, mine's going to probably be there as well. You can also support me at patreon.com at BW Roses. I have a new video up there under the $3 and $5 tier. You can also support me with a $1 tier tip. Also, guys, you can support me through Venmo and Cash App. It would help out tremendously. Also, guys, you can find me at twitch.tv. I got to get that up and operational again soon. You can also find me, ladies and gentlemen, at kick.com. I got to get that ball rolling there soon. Also, guys, you can find me at Venmo. Not Venmo, but Vimo, I should say. You can find me at Vimo at BW Roses for content you won't see here on YouTube. You can also find me on Odyssey.com, at BW Roses-5. You can also find me at Rumble.com at BW Roses for content, again, you can't find here on YouTube. You can also find me at DeviantArt.com at BVW1979, InkBunny.net at BW Roses, and you can find me, again, like I said, at my Teespring store as well. And follow me, ladies and gentlemen, on Twitter, aka X.com at BW Roses, Blue Sky at BW Roses, And find me over at TikTok.com at TikTok at BWRosets. But guys, give me your thoughts overall on what I had to say. And until then, I am out.